Okay, looks like things should be live according to this button I just clicked. So, what's going on, people? The normal recap things that I do, usually those are on like the first Sunday of the month, but last Sunday, which was the first Sunday, my sister was here, and then I just kind of forgot about it, you know what I'm saying? So, now I'm doing it today. Nothing's really going to be different other than just that it's a week later than usual, but whatever. So past that, I don't think the I don't think there's too much else to really say. For anyone who's seen one of these, you know how it goes. Just kind of pull up a list of some shoes and or some pictures of some shoes and go through it, right? Now this one should be a little bit shorter because I think there weren't as many in the little folder this time around. So that's kind of a good thing. But I'm going to go ahead and get this thing put up on the screen. So when people do show up, if people do show up to watch this, then they can see what we're here to actually talk about, not just me, right? Because let's face it, this is my channel, so I'm sure you see more than enough of me. But every so often you want to see some other stuff. I get that. So there's that other stuff, right? Now, before I go getting into that, I do also have some reviews that will be coming up sooner or later. I've been a little slow with getting those out, mostly because I've just had other stuff to do, you know what I'm saying? So normally I'm pretty good about things, but at the end of the day, you still only have so many hours in that day. So once you hit 24, that's kind of it. You can only do so much, right? If you want to sleep and all that good stuff, right? So now that some things have kind of lightened up just a little bit, I should start rolling out some videos a little more consistently. Because if you've seen how things usually work in the past or whatever, I'm usually good for like a few a week, right? And lately it's been more like one on the weekend and then a bunch of random crap content that just doesn't amount to anything. So hopefully in the next like coming weeks or whatever, things start to get a little bit more on track. So I'm doing this. Hopefully I'll edit a video today and then have another one out tomorrow. Just put one up yesterday. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anywho, let's see what's going on over here. Not a lot. Okay, cool. So first and foremost, got a couple dunks up here right now. I'm not a huge dunk guy, so that's kind of why I put them first, just so that they can get out there and just be out of the way, and then I can scroll through to some other things. Let me see if I can widen this up just a little bit, because it doesn't seem to be as wide on the screen, or maybe that's just how that looks. I don't know. Either way, so got a couple dunks to go through, and I'm just gonna try to get those out of the way real quick, more or less. So first and foremost, well, not foremost, but first up, had this navy pair. This one actually looks pretty decent. Normally, I kind of look down on the dunks because I just don't think most of them look worth the hype that they get. But this particular one, it's doing all right, at least in my eyes. You know, simple. It's still not a look that I'm sure I would like. And I say that just because I'm not really much for anything over a low top, and I just feel like they wouldn't feel very good on me and probably would look even worse on me. So that's part of the reason I rarely go for the dunks. The other being, like I just said, I don't like how most of them look. This one, though, I'm sure I didn't go for it, but I'd consider it if it was readily available in a store. You know what I mean? So moving along, this was the strawberry milk dunks. I saw these on McFly's channel. He did a review. I think his wife got them or something like that. Because it definitely wasn't a shoe for him. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was doing the review, it was significantly smaller than his feet. Anyway, so these right here. Now, I'm not a fan of strawberry milk, and part of that brings in a little bit of bias when I look at these, but they look to be at least done well. I mean, you got like that milky swoosh, that's kind of a cool little vibe, and then just the overall colors of the rest of it does kind of remind me of like that Nestle Quick Bunny thing, you know? Because I think they had a strawberry version. I don't even know if that's still a thing, but it was when I was growing up. So looking at these kind of reminds me of those in a way, or those bottles and stuff. But overall, I think the execution is fine. It's not something that I would care for, but that's just me. I don't care for a lot. So these, for the people that were going after them, I think might have been a women's shoe. That I could totally see. This, on the other hand, though, these Gundam, I forget what the other name was, but because I think they had more than one Gundam release, but I can't remember this exact colorway name, but I was not a fan of it. The thing that turned me off on it, like at first, was the swoosh. I just don't like that broken up style that they used on these. I totally get why they did it that way, but just because something makes sense doesn't mean it looks good, at least not to you, right? Now, otherwise, though, if this had been a normal shoe, right, and they stuck with these colors and just not quite that material on the side for the swoosh, I think, and they dropped that logo down there, I think this would have been fine, right? But they didn't. So yeah, I'll just never know. But in a way, color wise, it kind of reminds me of those Cork 97s and 90s that came out not too long ago because of the brown and the dark blue. But I don't know. Like I said, dunks usually aren't my thing, and nothing has changed. These, apparently, the strawberry coughs, apparently they were supposed to come out a while ago, and I guess in some places maybe they did because some people had them, or at least they had got their hands on them somehow. But they had a real release more recently, and I think Anthony Levine said he was able to get a pair because he was on the waiting list to get them, and they finally just got around to calling him because they actually had them. So I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but it was in his podcast. So if you listen to that, you know what I'm talking about. But these, looking at them here, it's still not really my thing, but it seems kind of a cool idea, I guess, with the whole strawberry vibe going on. But I don't like strawberries, so there is that piece of it. I like strawberry flavored things to some extent, but not strawberries themselves. I've never even had one. I just don't like them. I know that sounds weird, but just go with it. But anyways, so looking at these here, it's not a bad visual, I guess. Like as far as like the execution and as to why it would be called strawberry cough or whatever. Got the little fuzzy stuff going on the back, and then like the not so fuzzy stuff going on with the red. But I don't know. It's not a thing for me, especially not with what I heard prices were like on those. Now, moving along, these are okay. Like the only thing that kills it for me is that logo on the back. 'Cause I'm not a fan of logos on things, and it seems like there's always a logo on something that I actually like. So when I look at what was that? Adidas, like they did a bunch of Ultra Boosts for various college teams or whatever recently, and a lot of them looked pretty good, but I don't want to wear a shoe for something if I'm not really into that particular thing. So there's some things obviously that get a pass, like when it comes to like the Yeezys and stuff. Like I don't pay any attention to what Kanye West does. I honestly don't care one way or the other. I'm very indifferent to the guy. But I wear his shoes because the 350s are comfortable and some of them look all right. But when it comes to just like a random basketball team, like I don't no, I'm not buying a Nets shoe. I don't even know about them. You know what I mean? If it was like a team that I could get behind, if it was like the Raptors or the Magic or the Celtics, then maybe we could talk. Because those are the teams that I can get behind. Now, this is one of the Jordan 1 Comfort series, right? And I want to try a pair of these. I think this is like the Fly East one or something. But I want to try one of these because I hear that the Zoom Comfort does kind of change things quite a bit, as far as the feeling of them and all that stuff. And one of my main complaints about Jordan 1s is that walking in them just feels kind of bad, right? It's understandable based on what the shoe is, sure, but that doesn't necessarily make it okay. It's just, you just know why it's happening. But these, given that they have like the Zoom Air and on them, the Zoom Air in them, that could make them a little bit better. So we'll see. I just kind of don't. I don't know if I'll ever get a pair though, because I always forget about looking into them, because when I see shoes popping up, like certain things, I just kind of have like it's almost like selective hearing, but for like vision. So I see stuff and I just look right through it. When I see Jordans popping up, it's like, yeah, whatever, whatever, whatever. Unless it's like 12, 7, or 5, sometimes ones. But overall, like it's usually those first three. These I'm just like, whatever. So I don't even follow their releases. And then this one, like, I don't even know if this actually happened, but it was on the list of things that happened, right? So I just kind of went with it that way. And Eric V, hey, what's going on? What would you say if the 500s are comfortable? I don't know. I've never worn a pair. The Air Force One React with the drop in midsole was amazing. I know the Nyjah pair that came out last summer was like that. I saw them in one of Homegrown Cake's videos, but I never wore them or anything and never looked into it because I don't like the Air Force One. I'm more like probably the only person that says that because everybody else seems to be either okay with them or really into them. But I don't really see anybody saying, oh, this is bad. But yeah, I don't know. Something about it is just not like my thing. And this, the gold something or other. You know, this shoe, not gonna lie, it's a little gaudy, right? It is. But for some reason, I'm kind of okay with it. And this is the kind of thing that, like, if I saw it on a raffle or whatever, I probably would have put in on it just to see if it worked out. I would not have been saddened in any way if it didn't, and I would not have bragged at all if it did. But it seems like something that I would not mind having. I don't know what it is about this. I didn't even know about it until this morning when I was downloading pictures, but it actually looks kind of all right. But it's not really one that I would try to sell on anybody, that's for sure. And then moving into some threes, or at least a three, right? Now, I like green and black, right? It's kind of a cool combination. I'm thinking about picking up some green and black Lego Ultra Boost, right? We'll see if they stick around on the sites and go on sale. But this particular shoe, right? I don't know. I'm not a huge three guy. I like the one pair that I have, but most of them, other than like that Georgetown pair that came out like this year or last year, most of them just don't really look all that great to me. And it's weird because I like the color combination. I've got no reason to not really like this. I think it really just comes down to the model, honestly. But if you threw that, like I said, on another thing that I'm more into, then it might be a different conversation. And these, same with these, right? Like I would say, and I honestly just said it like 5 minutes ago, that the Jordan 5 is in my top three Jordan models, period, right? But this shoe I wanted nothing to do with. And I never saw them in person, so I can't really say too much with any actual substance behind it. So everything I say about these is really just my personal thoughts on looking at pictures, right? I didn't watch any reviews because I I don't like watching reviews, honestly. It's weird, I know, but I don't for the most part. Some of them can be okay. So I don't know what's really going on with this, but I just looked at it and I was like, I don't know what's going on up here. I don't know what's going on down here. It's too white. I just I could not like this shoe. I like the idea that they're making more fives. That's pretty fine in my eyes. But this itself, nah, I'm good. And these Billie Eilish shoes, now I don't know what the deal is with these. And Eric V says those fives look decent in hand. I mean, I can see them looking okay, but it's still like the thing is just for me, it's too much white. I mean, is it actually white? Because it looks like it's white, and I'm just not a white shoe guy. So that's part of where that comes from. If it had been gray, maybe it would have been a little more forgiving, like a light gray, kind of like almost silver, but not silver, but just like a light gray. That could have been all right, maybe. But yeah, if that's what it is, yeah, I'm good. But somebody that I work with said that they got them and that they said the same thing that they're better in person. But I don't know. Now these, I I just don't like the way this thing looks. I I just don't. It looks very futuristic, but like in a bad future, I guess. I don't know, in a future where like footwear sucks. So maybe they're comfortable. Like I've heard some people say some things about 15s that are positive, But the people that I've heard say that, like the number of people, is like one, I think, you know? But I've never heard anybody say that they're not comfortable. So there's that. But I think maybe because of just like what I've heard from people, it's just that I've only heard from one person that's actually worn them and just a bunch of people that have actually seen them in pictures and don't like them, you know? A lot of people that have my same amount of exposure to it. So, anyways, color wise, it's not a bad color. I'm not usually a big fan of like shoes that are all one color like this or whatever, but this is a decent one. I'll give them that. And on another model, like if they did this, remember those Bulls 12s from like the end of 2018? They were like all red and it's like a weird material. If they made those in this color, I would have no problem with it because it's a fine color, but it's not a fine model. And that's where the problem comes in. The Jordan Delta. This one I've heard some good things about. I haven't tried a pair for myself yet, but maybe one day, if I, start actually following Jordan releases, perhaps. He says, Homegrown says, those look okay, I guess. I'm guessing he's talking about the 15s given by like when this comment popped up and the slight delay that usually happens with, YouTube StreamYard things. Also, hello to Homegrown Kicks. I was just talking about you earlier when Eric V mentioned those. He mentioned something about Air Force Ones with like the React midsole where you can take it out. Because remember you had those. So let's see, the Delta Breathe I prefer much more. Yeah, I've heard that's what I've heard people talking about more so, like the Delta Breathe. But again, like every time when I think about the Delta situation, it's this setting where I'm looking at the picture and then I think, oh, I should keep my eyes out for those. And then I just like this ends, I close the window and I completely forget about it until next month if they release another one over the month. But I do like the idea of it, as far as like lightweight, comfortable shoes with React midsoles. That's a thing that I'm into. I bring up the React Visions all the time. Well, during Yeezy reviews or whatever, 350 reviews. But yeah, huge fan of those. Let's see, got a couple Grant Hills, right? Now these here, and you guys can weigh in if you want to. Like, I do want a pair of the top ones, but only because every so often the nostalgia gets you, right? And these were a popular thing when I was in high school. I remember seeing them. This was back in ninth grade, so many moons ago. And I thought, well, that's a pretty decent looking shoe there. You know, didn't really know anything about it. Didn't think anything past that. And now that I'm older and can actually like get some of this stuff that I see once in a while, I saw those and I was like, oh well, let me go check some stores and see if they have them because I don't want to do a blind buy on them as far as the sizing goes because my luck with basketball shoes is kind of like it's kind of weird, because like 12s, those up tempos, those Kyrie twos, like things just fit a little weird in the basketball world to me, right? So I don't want to buy them and then to go through the whole return thing. But I haven't seen them around. They seem to be very well stocked online, which is cool, but I don't live in the internet, so that does nothing for me. I need them to be like here in the city, or at least maybe in that city or the other one, somewhere where I can get to them. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't care for the black one because I'm just not into that. It looks like it's probably fine, But this upper one, even though I'm not a big white shoe guy, every now and then one gets through the cracks, and that's one that could get through the cracks. But we'll see what happens on if I actually get it or not. And somebody, Eric, was asking about the 350, excuse me, the 500 earlier. This is the 500 low, obviously, but I look at them and I just think, no, thank you. So like it doesn't help that every colorway I've seen has been like not that good. Not a fan of these. The Fila model just looks weird. Or not a fan of these Fila. The model just looks weird. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to sit here and dispute that, right? I won't say like, I will sometimes be into things that don't look amazing, but it's fine enough for me, right? And now there are some shoes where I'll sometimes question how people don't like it. Like if somebody said, "Oh, I don't like the Air Max 90 or something," right? Or the Air Max 1 or the Air Max Plus, right? Well, really? Why not? Like I'm somewhat curious because it seems like it looks fine, like it would appeal to people. This, on the other hand, I mean, well, those Fila 2 or Grant Hill 2 Filas, I can see where you might come from on that. They do look very plain. Speaking of plain, getting back on where we were here, these 500s though, I see a lot of colors like this where it's just not great, right? I mean, if you were going to go visit like the Hershey factory or something, maybe this could be a shoe to wear because it kind of makes sense. But overall, I just don't care for the look of it. If it was Boost, I might consider trying it out, but I'm good. I'll stick with like the occasional 700 because that at least has Boost in it. At least the ones and the twos do, B1s and B2s. This, I don't know. I just haven't seen any colors of it that really make me think this is something to try out. If it was like a decent enough color, yeah, I'd go for it just to see what I truly think of it. Because at least then I can be like, well, it may not be great, but at least it doesn't look terrible. But they just keep making terrible ones. So, and then the high one is in a lot of ways worse to me. So there's that. But let me see, where's it? 500s are an instant no for me, no matter the colorway. I can't explain it other than to say it's ugly. And yeah, that's completely valid. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, they don't look that great as a model, right? You know, you can say what you want about the colorway selections, but the model itself is just not anything that I would see as a reason to like get, right? But some people do seem to be into them. Not a lot, but some people. And then I look at this and it just looks, I don't know which one and I'll put the question out to you guys too. Like, if for some reason, let's say you were barefoot and you wanted to not be barefoot, and someone was like, here, I can offer you this 500 high or this 500 low. Which one do you want? Like, color aside, like, would you rather take the high or would you rather take the low? Which one do you think is like the least ugly? Personally, I'm going with the low because I'm not a huge fan of high shoes, and this one looks like it's got like too much going on. So that's just where I stand. I'd go with that low, no question. I mean, I'd get rid of it almost instantly, possibly, depending on, the situation. But these also came out. These Vermilions, I believe, is the color. So for whatever reason, they put in a lot of red on those. And I keep seeing people around here in like this region, like wearing not necessarily this color, but wearing this model, like it's just a normal shoe to wear, and it's not. But it's just a thing people are doing. And I assume that a lot of it is just like, hey, these are limited. I want to let people know that I have a limited thing, people that are in the know. And they want to feel cool a little bit, right? And I totally understand it. Sometimes people just want to feel cool. Let's see. I could see someone saying no instantly to the 450. Yeah, I picked up a pair of 450s the other day. And oh my God, it was so expensive. I didn't realize it until today when I was going back through and just looking at my like monthly like budget to see where I was and all that stuff. I bought them from Foot Shop, which is like ships out of like I don't know, like Prague or something. So I paid in euros, and then there was like the overseas shipping. They came out to like 280, and I was like, oh my God, dude, you got to stop this. Do some math before you buy things. But it happened, and now I just got to deal with it. I'll probably get that review out soonish, but I honestly keep forgetting that I even have them. But like, I'll randomly take whatever and then get rid of them. That doesn't answer the question, but thank you for responding. Okay, so up next, we have two of these. These are 380s. Now, when it comes to the 380, I feel very much like I do about a lot of the other things. Like, I don't see what's so great about them. I have one pair, right? And people say you should try going up a half a size to see if that makes them feel better. Because I don't feel that they fit bad. But I don't want to try going up a half size either because depending on like the shoe and various variables, going up half makes the shoe look worse because it looks bigger, and like some shoes don't look better as they get bigger. They look worse, you know, it's like a negative coefficient. But I look at this and I'm just thinking like, okay, I guess the top one isn't so bad, but I think the top one kind of sat around on the Asics, excuse me, on the Adidas site for a little bit because I saw them like a day or two afterwards, maybe two or three, I don't know. And I was like, oh, I thought those were a while ago. But yeah, I guess that pair didn't move so quickly. But obviously, like, it doesn't really matter if things sell out instantly or not. That means nothing, right? Sometimes people just don't jump on buying stuff immediately because they gotta like wait till they get paid or something, you know? So if something is still sitting like a solid 2 weeks later, then that's how you know like people are really not into it. A couple days later, it's too much to consider. And then we have this, a pair of 350s. Now I do like 350s, right? A lot of them look decent, a lot of them look awful. You know, it is what it is. I'm usually pretty honest in the reviews that I do of the ones that I get. Now, this one, it's in the former group, meaning I think that it looks pretty good, right? It was one where I didn't know how easy it would be to get because it had a different look, and sometimes when things have a different look, all of a sudden everybody wants them. But these were an easy enough one to pick up that I got two. I got one for myself and I got one for my brother, which will likely be mailed out to him later this week. And there will also be a review posted likely later this week. Maybe even today. I don't know. But it looks pretty decent in my eyes. So good on them for switching things up and not making it terrible, unlike how they did things with the Mist pack or whatever you want to call it. This one, this one I was a little split on, right? Because I look at it and I think like, okay, well this doesn't look bad. I'm not sure why, but I don't hate it like I normally do. So there's that. But at the same time, I wasn't like, oh my God, I got to get it. And usually, if I'm not in that group, like of really wanting it, then I take that as like, you don't want it, so don't buy it. But it was one of those things where it could have been like a consolation prize for not getting the was like some Ember Flame pair or something that came out a while ago because like those I actually liked. I just didn't know about them until after they had already come and gone. So I saw these and I was thinking like, should I put in for them or should I not? Because like my luck with Adidas can be it's good often enough that I it makes me second guess if I should like put in for stuff sometimes. So your brother has those 700s in orange and tan. I think that might be the colorway that I'm thinking of. I don't know. But yeah, I saw them and I was like, maybe I would like these, you know? But then I figured if I buy these, it's early in the month, and that's like one thing for sure that I'm not going to be able to get later because, you know, again, I try to stick to some kind of budget. I don't do a good job of it, but I'm usually pretty close, you know, except for last month, those Chili Peppers tickets, that threw things off by a lot. And then something else. And then this month, like WrestleMania tickets, that also threw things off quite a bit. But you know, typical things, you know. So yeah, 700s, they're not an amazing thing to me, but every now and then one comes along that doesn't look awful. And those I think don't look awful. I just don't know if they're looking amazing. So one of the shoes that I spoke very highly of, I buy a lot of trail shoes, right? One of the shoes that I spoke very highly of was the Pegasus Trail 3 because they have like the React midsole, right, which is super awesome. I got a really nice lightweight upper and a pretty cool construction to it. You know, it's a lot of like I forget what they call it, like snag free stitching and stuff to keep things from like kind of like catching on them. It's a really good shoe. You know, I bought a pair for me and two pair for my mom and my dad. You know, so that's cool. And so I saw that they put these out, like which is the same thing, just the Gore-Tex version. So it's going to be a little more rugged, at least in the upper. So I'm kind of thinking like maybe I should get a pair of these, you know, since that other pair was so nice. Now, how many pairs of trail shoes do I really need? One, I think, is the actual answer. But at this point, I have like several. I just bought some more this morning for my mom and dad because, you know, they're supposed to be coming around again, and I bought them some Saucony ones because we might hit some trails up, and I figure like this way I can get them a pair to keep here, and then they can have the Pegasus pair like back at their house. So I try to be considerate like that. But I saw these today, and I'm thinking if they make some better colors, this will be something to consider. Because right now, right off the top, I'm not wowed by either of these. That top one is decent, but it's not for me. So I'd have to look and see what's going on with those as far as other colors go. And now I look at these right here, though. These are looking very good. And, well, I won't say very good, but they're looking very intriguing. There's a slight difference there. Intriguing enough that I bought them. I tried, actually, no, I saw them on some site that was doing a raffle. And I was like, do I want to do this? But it was one of those overseas things. So then I just kind of talked myself out of it. But then they came back in stock they came in stock on the ASICS site. And so if you saw my little unboxing I did yesterday on Legram, then you saw that I did actually get these in this big old box of ASICS shoes. There's like 3 pairs in that box. And that was one of them. So very cool. Very cool. We'll get back to that later. These, though, on this, still sticking with like trail type rugged shoes or whatever. Every time I look at these, like I think more and more of like, what's really going on here? Because I don't get it. It's obviously not for me, right? So I just look at those and I'm like, especially with like the all black thing, like that takes away a lot of points. Because originally when I first saw these, because Gravy or Grav, however you want to pronounce that, he had a pair and he showed me like which color he had or whatever, and it made me think, oh, I wonder what these materials are like, and I had some questions. But if I'd seen this pair first, I'd have been like, oh, those are not okay. But yeah, it's so much stuff happening. I know some people are into that, but I'm not. So it is what it is. This there's also a lot happening here that I'm not into. Here's my thing, right? See all those little tassels on there that are hanging off the flowers and they're just kind of dragging on the ground? That's nasty to me, right? So you're just going to be tracking all kinds of crap everywhere, like just dirt and grime or whatever. So it's just disgusting to me. It's the same, it's the same, though not as bad as when I see people with their laces just kind of like dragging on the ground. It's like, are you gonna like touch those laces with your bare hands later? You're just gonna be touching all kinds of like everything you've walked in earlier today. So either way, this whole thing, because of that, that's just disgusting. Because it's a superstar, I also don't like it. And take all those things, all those personal biases aside, and then you just look at the visual of it, I don't like the way it's done. So this Sean Wotherspoon guy, he's been responsible for some things that are okay, right? He's been responsible for some things that are really good too. And he's also been responsible for some things that are just god awful, and that's where this one falls in. So if you like it, fantastic. Hope you enjoy walking around in them, right? Hope they're everything you wanted them to be. But if you're wondering how I feel, now you don't have to. I also don't like these. And it's only because they look weird. The wings thing also is a no, right? But it's something about like just this overall look of them. If it didn't have the wings, I might think that these were kind of okay, but they do, so they're not. Now, take off the wings, throw on a different color, then we might be onto something, because it looks like it could be a respectable model if it was like the non-winged version. And I've seen one of the young bucks wearing these. I don't remember which one. My money's on, no pun intended, Matt Jackson. I'm thinking it was Matt Jackson had these on a recent episode of Dynamite. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys into that? Let's see. Keeping things moving. The Ned Flanders left-handers rule Adidas and McCartans. I had never heard of the Adidas and McCartan before this. I don't know if it's a common thing or what. But either way, I unboxed these last night as well, and the quality on them is really good. Like, it was surprising, because I looked at it and I thought it was just going to be like, you get what you pay for sort of shoe because it's like in the 120 range. But no, it was actually pretty good. So thumbs up to Adidas for coming through on that. But to be fair though, when you look at like all the other Adidas Simpsons shoes that have happened, they've all been pretty good. So, I mean, even if the look hasn't been all that great on all of them, the execution, the quality, all that stuff, it's been where you would expect it to be. And now, a couple other Adidas shoes. This was like a three-way sort of pack here. These came out on National Sneaker Day. I don't remember what day that was. It was a couple Sundays ago, somewhere in the middle of October, because it was whatever day I did my Asics collection video. Now, I'm a huge fan of Ultra Boost, and I think people know that by now that actually like pay attention to me. But these, oh man, like I don't like them. Usually green is like a color that I kind of gravitate towards, but this one it looks like poop, and that's kind of not cool. I guess the blue one would be the one that I'd get if I had to get one, because I already have like the maroon isn't bad, but I already have some Air Max 97s in that colorway, so that's kind of a one and done sort of situation in some ways, as far as like the maroon and white candy cane-ish looking thing. So yeah, probably that blue pair, but I I would bet that these are all three still readily available on the Adidas webpage because I just can't see anybody like jumping on buying them, especially not at $180. The thing I always say about like the Adidas shoes, pretty much anything that's not limited in any way, is like if you like it, just remember that you like it in a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, because it'll probably be on sale because their stuff does not move quickly. And a couple more Ultra Boost. I have the top pair and the bottom pair, and I'm thinking about getting that pair in the middle because, as I mentioned earlier, I do like green. I do kind of like Legos, and I do really like Ultra Boost. So it's checking a lot of boxes, right? So I picked up the yellow pair because they gave me early access, which was pretty much open to anybody with an Adidas account, I think, but you only had like a day to like, cash in on it, which is a fair amount of time, right? And then I saw the green pair, and the one thing that kind of made me second guess it was, well, for one, I knew I was getting the yellow pair, but I wasn't sure how I felt about all the extra green around the toe box of the green pair. But looking at it again, I think it might be okay. So if the sale price comes around, then the purchase will come around. And then that'll kind of help me make up for the extra money I spend buying these heat maps, which aren't bad, but I just put up that review, so that covers all the negativity that I had to say about it. But today, we'll try to keep things slightly more positive. So, these right here. Now, I'm not a Jordan 14 guy, but this is something that I, I don't buy anything over 12 personally, right? But if I did, because this is a winterized shoe and it's got that nice brown color to it, there is a strong chance that I would buy these. But I shop the way that I shop. But I saw McFly's review and they look pretty good. And he said they look a little different in person as far as like the brown color that you see. I don't know if I've actually seen them in person myself though. But yeah, these I've got nothing negative to say about them other than the fact that I just don't go above 12. It's just not me. But those are cool. These, once again, this was the Campus 80. This is one of those things that Adidas did, and I was just like, what is that? It's got this like wood grain kind of look to it. Almost looks like it's not like the shelter like the Superstars, whatever, but yeah, it's a very weird one. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know that I hate it. I definitely don't like it. It's somewhere in the middle, but it just kind of makes me look at it for a long time and think like, how do I feel about this? I mean, how do you guys feel about it? I don't know. It's an odd one, but good on Adidas for taking more chances because they do that from time to time, and that kind of keeps things a little bit interesting at times. So moving along. Another wheat shoe. This one is the Griffey Max something or other. This one, I'm not a fan of like the overall model necessarily, but because I do like wheat shoes, it does get a pass. It's not bad, it's got like the typical Air Max thing, so I'm sure it's comfortable. I can't vouch for the upper or anything, but you know, being an anti-baseball kind of guy, that there's a slight bias there. But just looking at this for what it is, this is one that I could see people buying into for sure. And this is one that I wish I could buy into because of all of the ones I just showed, like this is easily the best one, right? I really like something about this shoe. I don't know what it is, and I kind of told the story when I was doing my little kicks of the day video talking about this colorway, but on the what was that, a Hirachi, the wheat Hirachi, flax Hirachi, and I talked about missing out on these, right, and that being my like runner up. But man, like this is a grade school pair, so if they release these as like an adult size too, I might finally get that other pair of tempos I want. And then it'll just be down to them bringing back the UNC blue colorway because that's the other one that I want, right? Of the up tempos, there's been those three that have really pulled my attention in. Showing a little bit of appreciation to the other brands out there. I was just talking about Saucony. This is the Shadow 6000 in the Food Fight colorway. Thinking back on it, I should have got another picture that actually showed both shoes because it kind of has like sort of a what the sort of vibe where the left one and the right one don't look the same. This was not one that I liked for myself. I liked the way they did it. I can respect the execution, but it just didn't fit with something that I would want for whatever reason. And even when I was telling McFly that, he's like, really? Like, you didn't want these? Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes the thing that you generally go for just doesn't quite click for you. So I like the mix match things. I like colorful things. I like comfortable things. But yeah, something about these, they just didn't do it for me. But apparently, like everybody else, at least on my Instagram feed, thought this was like the best thing since sliced bread. Pun slightly intended. Moving on along here. This is, forget the colorway name. I think it was Slate something or other, but this pair of 1500s looks really good. Now, I've never bought any 1500s. I almost bought a pair of 1300s, I think, but the price turned me away because, like, at the time, I didn't really know much about New Balance. I just saw New Balance and I saw the price was high, and I'm like, New Balance shouldn't cost this much. I didn't realize the whole different tiers and like the made in England, made in UK, made in USA, whatever, made in Japan. I think they have a couple. So had I thought about all of those things, or had I known about all of those things, I probably would have bought that pair. But it's just one of those live and learn sort of situations. It sucks having missed out on them because I didn't really like them, and the price was fine for what they were. It might have even been just under retail, which actually makes me a little more discontent with the fact that I did not buy them. But yeah, these are nice, very nice, and I'm sure the quality is fantastic. Now the quality on these probably even more so because the higher the number, right? But this one, I think Logan J did a review of these because if I remember correctly, he did a pair of something, and I just remember like the teal border, and I was saying somewhere I kind of wish I had a little bit of like purple in there because like those colors go together very well. I did a pair of Aquatone Hirachis that were that color recently, but yeah, I saw these and I don't like them as much as this upper pair, but I don't think you can really go wrong with either. I mean, as a colorway, I like the upper pair more. As a model, I like the lower pair more. So in that way, that's why I say you can't really go wrong either way. These though, I haven't seen a new pair of Vapormax Pluses that I liked in a long time. This pair kind of reminds me of my Take Flight 8s, which, oh God, I can't remember the last time those were out of the box. But yeah, so the Take Flight 8, though, this kind of reminds me of those. Also, those Ultra Boost S and Ls, because that was a similar colorway. The olive with like the little bit of red on the back. So if I see these around, this is a likely purchase because the Vapormax Plus is definitely one of the shoes that has a soft spot in like in my heart or something. I don't even know if that's the phrase. Either way, I like them. They're very comfortable. They feel very cool, and it's one of the first shoes that I got really into when I started branching out into different models. So there's also that piece of it. Moving on along, a couple more Air Maxes here. These Pata Air Max ones. This particular colorway, it's very much the same as the color, like the brown curry, right? And I have those, so I didn't feel like I needed these. I'm also not a huge fan of this like wavy thing going on here. I hear the quality is amazing, but I don't know. And I've been wanting a new pair of Air Max ones for a while, so in some ways, this seems like something that I would have gone for, but I just wasn't completely sold on the look, you know? I'm also, I don't know why, but I kind of don't like the little mini swoosh down here on the front. Something about that is just, I don't know. But overall, I can't say anything bad about these. The model, the color, yeah, that's all cool, but it's just this, you know? And I think there's two pairs of these, right? So the Air Max 2021, which is a thing that I wore just to kind of get my head around how I felt about it. I wore these a fair amount for a while as like my errand shoes or whatever, just so I could kind of see what they're all about. And those are really nice. So I wouldn't mind picking up another pair of 2021s if they put out the right color. That black one, that's not it, right? This lower one, that's that's a potential, right? It kind of had like a little Halloween sort of vibe to it, you know. Maybe that's why they put them out when they did. And then there's a couple more Halloween type shoes on here. Got this pair of Hirachis, you know, like orange and black. They released those, and they also did. Oh, Homegrown says he's in the green room. Oh, okay. Well, I don't see you in there, so I guess that's a lie. Or maybe he just put that late. But I don't know. Either way. So yeah, I don't see you in there, so I can't do anything about that. But yeah, so I saw these. They put these out, the Hirachis. They also put out a pair of Prestos, which aren't pictured because I couldn't find the picture. I did put this other one up here though. If I was to buy one, it would probably be the Presto. Oh, not this Presto. I don't like that one. This upper Hirachi here, they made that in the Presto as well. And I'd probably buy the Presto only because I bought so many Hirachis this year that I should kind of like get other stuff. I also bought a lot of Gel Light 3s. But either way, I thought the Presto was fine. And I'm not going to say it looked better than the Hirachi, but for a variety of reasons, I would lean towards the Presto. If I didn't have either, definitely the Hirachi. Now, moving on to this particular Presto, though. Oh, we're at the bottom of the list. Cool. So, moving on to this particular Presto, I don't know. The eyes on the back is what just is a deal breaker for me. I looked at it and I thought maybe it's just me, and I looked at it again and caught it from a different angle, and nah, I just don't like it. And this is the actual Halloween release, which I believe they actually released their Halloween shoes early enough that you could actually have them in time for Halloween, unlike last year when they did all their Halloween shoes on like October 30th or something. You know, so you can't order anything and get it in time to wear it the next day. It's not Amazon. So that kind of sucked. But yep, so there we go. We've done it. We've gone through that whole list of shoes. So real quick, I'm going to get this thing off the screen. I'm going to show some things that I picked up over the last month. And honestly, like because I haven't been so good about getting my reviews out, I had to go out and backtrack through my emails and all that stuff just to see what I bought over the last month. And I've settled on, let me move this pillow. I've settled on these particular four. So first up, and these aren't in any particular order because my lists never are. I guess I should take out both since these look different. So right here, where's that? Oh, the black light is on the other side of this, so you're not going to be able to see the glow in the dark unless you watch the video. So the Friday the 13th House of Terror Vans collaboration thing. these right here were really awesome, and they actually got a fair amount of compliments from random people or whatever because they were, oh, those are cool. And then like one of my coworkers like wore them to work, and he's like, oh man, those are kind of all right. Then I sent him like the glow in the dark picture, and he was like, wow, that's the same shoe. You know, he's an older gentleman that doesn't really see a lot of shoes or whatever because he just wears like that standard old man New Balance. So when I sent him that picture, he was just blown away. But these do look really cool though. So that was definitely one that I wanted. I wore them Halloween weekend, and they will probably not be worn again until next year, unless there's some weird reason that pops up. So moving along, this right here, it's a pair of Gel Light 3s. I have them out because I was just recording the review for them. So there you have that. I don't have the tag over here, but it's some Japanese denim thing, so that's kind of what's going on there. Got the little Asics leather patch on the inside as well, right? So it's pretty all right style here. Got some pretty nice leather and all that stuff on the inside. As far as like the Asics area goes, got the gum bottom because that's always a cool thing. So this right here, I've been waiting on these for a while and stuff. Oh, now he's there. Now that I'm only looking at myself, I can see him coming at the midnight hour of this thing. But anyway, so I'm gonna put myself on the big screen though. So like I said, Asics shoes, they generally come in pretty cheap, but they are often made with some high quality. And so this, even though you get that premium approach, you don't have to pay the premium price, and that is a thing that I'm into. Moving right along, we have one more pair of Asics. Now, I don't know how many shoes I bought last month. Knowing me, I would guess like a dozen. That sounds like a fair, accurate statement, guess, whatever. This is that Trabuco Max Brain Dead collaboration. It says up at the top, Brain Dead. But yeah, so it's a trail shoe. So it's got this like weird bulky sort of thing. It's got this rugged outsole. It's got a lot of crap happening, kind of like those Terex 2 Ultra Parleys or whatever. It's got these weird laces on here, which are very soft. I'm not sure what's going on with them, what that's made to signify, but it was kind of like a Halloween thing that they were going for. So that's why you kind of got like the brain type of crap going on and all this stuff. And some very unnecessary Velcro thing happening right here. It's like, I don't know what they want you to do with that, but you can do that, you know? And then as far as the rest of it, you know, it's got the standard stuff. Very nice, very cushiony, very ready for the elements, right? Because again, it's a trail shoe. What does that say? And then at the bottom, that said Asics grip down there. And then one more over here. Hopefully I don't drop this. Usually I'm good about not dropping stuff, but you know. And then these, like I showed earlier in the pictures, this is the MX Oat. So you got that going on. One thing I thought was kind of a cop out in some ways is that if you look at this, like if you look at it and like both of them, they're basically like the same exact stitching. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was going to be one of those ones where it's kind of like not so much just a pattern, but more so something where, you know, it's kind of randomly generated sort of scene, you know, but it's not. Like they both look exactly the same, you know? So you can see that they both follow the same exact pattern and stuff. So I get it. I can't hold it against them. The one thing I will hold against it is this. See that? The plastic outline on these laces? They did that with those monos and they did it again. They even put that stupid plastic hang tag thing, or not hang tag, pull tab thing on the back there. So they did some good things and then they did some bad things. So overall, it sits in the middle. But the visual from a distance is what saves it. Let's see. And now, Axel Raven says, love your videos, man. Keep it up. You have a name that I would expect you to be like a wrestler. Are you a wrestler, Axel Raven? You know, making your way from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico or something? Homegrown Kicks, tell the people about yourself.
Homegrown Kicks, sneaker YouTuber, hence the name. Been a little busy, well, not a little busy, but a lot busy. So I hadn't been able to put up much content, but I'm coming back with more content. I've got some videos recorded, waiting to be put out. I noticed that Shoes Up was sharing some of his sneakers. As far as pickups, I've got a lot of pickups. They're all over the place. But what I can't get my hands on, I guess I will show off. Let's see. One I picked up was the Yeezy 700s. I was surprised that I was able to pick these up. Then they're in the, I picked them up from End. I think it's End Clothing or something. Yeah, End Clothing. Really fast shipping. So if you are looking for shoes, head over to End. I got a notification off of Twitter, but I picked these up in the, I think these are called the wash orange colorway. I didn't know what to expect really because never had 700s. So this is my first pair of 700s. If you would like to know my thoughts, views, opinions, and expectations for that shoe, head over to my channel. Review will be up of that soon. I picked up, are these another pair? Yeah, I picked up these. The Nike SB Dunk Maui Wowies. Not a new release, but a release that I picked up recently nonetheless. This was an accident. I mean, that's weird to say because there's no real accidents in, purchasing shoes because you either buy it or you don't. You either want it or you don't. But this was an accident, an unexpected accident, I should say. But I definitely do like the shoe, so I'm not upset about that. What else did I pick up? I picked up the Royalty Jordan 12s. I just did a review for these. Hopefully I can edit that one today. I think I'm going to edit it today and try to put it out by like Monday or Tuesday, so to speak, because it is a current release, and anything old doesn't hold attention very long. So, that is coming. And I picked up some other things, but like I said, I can't get to them. I had a bit of a dangerous situation with my my shoe collection, my shoe closet, and the stacks of shoes. I put that on TikTok. I think I made a TikTok account and threw that up on TikTok. So if y'all want to see that, it's Homegrown Kicks on TikTok. Not a huge fan of TikTok, but sometimes you do succumb to the crowd, and I think that's what I did. As a matter of fact, I know that's what I did. But yeah, if you want to check me out, go ahead and do that. I greatly appreciate it. I got a lot of videos up there. It's not like I don't have anything up there. I do have videos up there with my thoughts and opinions. So yeah, I mean, I got content, but those are some of the things that I did pick up. I'm looking to pick up some other shoes, some other things coming in the mail in the coming days and weeks. So, yeah, be on the lookout for some of that.
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from with the somewhat unintended purchases that do happen. I got one from StockX sometime in October, a pair of March 350s.
Oh, wow.
I recorded that review. I just need to, I've done nothing else,
Right. Yeah.
Early days of this here channel, once I recorded the review, I was basically done because I would just post things as they were and just see what people think. But nowadays, I put like actual effort into them. It's like
right. At 6 or 7,000 subs, you got to put a little bit of extra effort.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So even though, and it's weird because like even when I'm doing certain things, it's like I know certain things won't really be watched, right? You never know what your hits are going to be,
right?
You often know what they won't be,
right?
And so I'll put the stuff in, I'll put the same amount of effort into anything, and then I'm sitting there like making sure cutting things up and all this. I'm like doing a lot of work for the 6 people that are going to watch this. But it's good practice. It keeps you in the groove of doing it. So when you have
right.
I took some time off of doing a lot of editing because I was doing some other school stuff or whatever. And then I sat down and start doing things, and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm like trying to remember stuff. I'm like, what do I call that section where I talk about stuff?
Yeah. I'm definitely going through that right now. I'm definitely a victim of outward circumstances and the amount of effort I put into YouTube. Because I stopped for I haven't posted a video, I don't think, in maybe like a month and a half or something like that. Now I did put up a video like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I don't count that as getting back into the groove of things. I just
Right.
felt like I had to put that up there. But um trying to do some editing, and I'm just like, what transitions did I use for this again? Or like, what is my usual kind of insert here? So
Oh yeah.
it's, yeah, I definitely understand when that happens.
Because I mean, I don't try to do everything in like a cookie cutter format, but you do have something of a format that you get used to.
Right.
And I'm just like I'll start talking like, did I say what this thing is? I mentioned something else about this? Usually I can just kind of slip some pictures in there wherever sometimes and make up for it, or that's where the whole B-roll thing comes in. But yeah, it's one of those things where you know how you want your stuff to come across, and if it's anything outside of that, it's not okay. Regardless of how
Yeah.
minute
Yeah.
that detail is, you might be like, man, I was supposed to say this in the beginning. It's like no one's gonna know that you didn't say it
Right.
when you didn't say it, but you're gonna know that it didn't happen. Welcome, Loud Pack Zach. Appreciate it.
I've redone a video at least 3 or 4 times because of that exact thing. And that's another reason why I have a lot of videos recorded. And like you said, that's about it.
Like I remember when I did I I haven't re-recorded any videos. Have I? No. I've rushed through a couple because I remember my Jordan 8 reverse Aqua, like the women's release. I was
Yeah.
recording it and I was I was not even halfway through the review and I saw the little pop-up saying that I either had 3 minutes of space or 3 minutes of battery. And so if you ever watch that review, it goes along like it normally would, and then it just like quickly is like speed through to the end. Like all of a sudden
Right.
this walk turns into a sprint. And I considered briefly redoing my. It was the first glow in the dark Ultra Boost video that I did because I had been recording stuff at a concert, and so that was recorded in like 720p, right?
Right.
So I didn't change the setting on the camera.
Oh,
It was either 720 or 1080, but it wasn't 4K. And
right.
so when I went to like look at something after I'd done the video, I was like, wait a second, like this thing was recorded in like some subpar quality. And so then
Oh,
I'm thinking like
man.
I should re-record it, but the way that my videos are, most of the video is pictures.
Right.
So I figured, okay, like the pictures are still going to be like of a nice resolution to where that'll
Yeah.
make up for that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to upscale the actual content portion, which is really just a voiceover by the time things are said and done. And then I recorded the on feats in 4K. So the part people really saw was fine, right? So no one's any of the wiser. But that bothered me just because it's like I know how it should have been and I know
Yeah.
how it was.
Yeah. Oh, I hate those moments. I have plenty of those moments where I may go through a video, record it, and almost towards the end, some kind of distraction will pop up, or um, I'll see on the LCD screen, the little mini screen on the camera, that I've only got a certain amount of battery left, and in that moment, it'll distract me enough for me to pause in the video, and I'm just like, and in a video, like in real time, it might only be a second of a pause, but that second feels like a lifetime, and it's enough to throw you off, and it's just like, oh, now I have to record the whole thing over again.
Yeah, that's actually, there was one that I had to re-record, but that was because it stopped recording at some point. Because the way I have it,
Oh,
because like all my stuff is off of the phone, right?
right.
So I have the phone on the tripod, and my TV happens to be behind the tripod. So when I'm looking at the camera, I can always glance up and I'll see the reflection of the actual video in the TV screen.
Oh,
So that
that's nice.
so that's how I know like if I'm like off centered or making sure I'm like make sure things are where they need to be. It's a
Right.
little trick, right? But anyway, so I happen to like be talking about stuff, then I look over and I didn't see like the stop recording thing anymore.
Oh
And I was
man.
like, well, when did that stop? You know? So then I
Man,
had to like stop
please.
and like watch it, and I'm like trying to see like, okay, where did it leave off? Then I forget how I did that video. I think I just picked up from a certain point in it because it was like one where I was unboxing some stickers and stuff that like the artist guy had sent me.
Right.
So yeah, that was like, man, that sucks because you know if you say something like, I don't try to like recreate anything, you know what I'm saying? But like there might have been something in there that was like funny and stuff, but like you say it again, it won't have the same effect because it won't be as
Right.
natural. So you just gotta like have some new material ready or something. I don't know. You
That's
just
the worst.
because the
That's
thing
the
is like
worst.
I don't, since I do a lot of like unboxings and it's all just like one shot, one kill.
Right.
I don't really think about what I'm gonna say. It just happens, and
Right.
so then that's where like the little hidden gems pop up, you know?
Right. Right. I
So
hate when I lose those little funny moments, and then I'll try and uh recreate that funny moment with the same joke, and it just hurts after
right.
it hurts to do it the second time, and then I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work. Um, and that frustration sets in. Then a lot of times I either won't even shoot the video, or it'll be days before I come back to it. But I've had many times like that, so I know all the pains and the pitfalls of that. Uh, and man, it's rough, man.
Yeah.
And we do it like, well, for me, I do it all for maybe, oh gosh, maybe like 30, 40, 50 views on any
And,
given video. So I'm just like, oh,
and
I mean, you hope and pray, or at least I do, because I'm not there yet, but I hope and pray that for like 20 or 30 views, and then it still kind of hurts even when you get those 20 or 30 views because you've put so much work into it. But I know sooner or later it'll pay off.
and
You just got to keep pushing forward.
and the one thing I will say about that is that because and you're no stranger to it, you know how it goes. Like you can put something up that might just kind of sit stagnant on the side and then be appreciated later, right?
Right,
But
right,
through the longevity of things, it's like I can look right now and see like, okay, well, if I look at my analytics thing, see if I can pull that up and see like what the last most watched videos were or whatever they call that. So like, yeah, when I look at a lot of the stuff that like my last 60 minutes, like what people watched over the last 60 minutes, a lot of this is old, right? Like last year stuff, like the
yeah,
Vapormax 3 review from like that was 2019, like summer 2019. These fresh
wow,
mint Air Max 2 lights, these Air Max 97s, all this stuff in here. And
that's crazy.
honestly, none of this is like hidden, right?
Right,
It's all
right,
stuff you can kind of see on anybody's channel if you, I guess, if you're like looking around or whatever. But you can kind of see what people are watching, I think.
right.
But like, I look at that stuff and it's like, so that's why I'm not always so quick to care about not being as active because it's like
Right.
October, I I could probably, for me, this says a lot, right? Like I could probably count how many actual true videos I put up. Not the short things or nothing under 60 seconds, none of that counted, right? How many like actual long form content videos I put up. I
Right.
could, if I sat here, I could probably think and count those, which is normally impossible, right? And even now, like I was just sitting here recording when I was recording this video today.
Yeah.
It's November 14th, and today was my first time recording anything in the month of November,
I was
other
gonna
than
say
other
there's
than
a
my
lot of shorts.
yeah, other than those, because like I do those every day, which I gotta say, it gets old. Like, man,
Like,
like,
because one moment, like I think I'm caught up on the shorts, and then I'm looking back at your channel, and I'm like, darn, there's like 8 more that popped up, or some shorts from like a month ago that
yeah,
I know felt like they weren't there. Like I'm going through some kind of Mandela effect when it comes to your shorts and stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm going crazy because I'm like, when did these happen?
because that's the thing. Because up until, was it September? I think it was. I think it was like the middle of September, like the second to last week of September was when I finally got everything out before that particular week.
Yeah,
And so then I think it was like the next Saturday, I went with like the okay, I'll put every. That's when I started to kind of like focus on make sure I got those all together. Because depending on what I had going on, there were some times where like I'm coming home from like a concert, I'm going to do these things that like, before I go to bed or something.
right, right.
So I was
Yeah,
like, okay, let me get into like making sure I get these out on Instagram, like at least the day of, which is easy because I don't have to do
yeah,
much. There's no uploading and tagging; it's just there.
right,
I was like,
right,
I'll get these out every day on Instagram, but then when Saturday rolls around, I'll see what my Saturday is looking like. Because if I don't leave on Saturday, then I don't have to do a video on Saturday.
right,
And so
right.
then I'll schedule them for 5:30 usually. Because when I do my actual content, like if it's something I want to get out there right now, I'll just publish
Yeah,
it as soon as it's done. But usually I'll schedule things for 9:30 in the morning. That's just what I go with. Because it's
that's a
out
hefty
there,
schedule.
it sits for a little while. People get to their lunch breaks or something, and then they're like,
Right.
"Oh, maybe I'll watch this." Or for like the
So,
UK guys, it's early enough in the evening at that point to where like they might have some time if they want to watch it.
right, right.
Because I think
So
they're
everybody
Untitled
listening,
Chapter, so it'd be like 4 o'clock for them roughly.
so like everybody listening, you hear this man's schedule. It's a pretty hefty schedule. So that means he needs more subs. More likes would be greatly appreciated.
Oh,
Like we need the likes to match the views.
no,
And he puts in a lot of work.
but the thing is like the more don't listen to that man. He's talking trash. Like the
Yeah.
more people that like show up and like the more I feel like I need to do stuff. And so that's why I try not to push anything too much. Like when it comes to channel promotion, I mostly draw the line at proper tagging. I'll do some like internal promoting, like when I do a video, and if I'm like,
Right,
oh yeah, this kind of reminds me of the desert sage, and then I'll put the desert sage picture, like the thumbnail across the screen.
right,
But
right.
if you if you ever pay close enough attention, you'll see that the thumbnail that I use in videos is never the thumbnail of the video. It's always I always make two.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just a thing, and that's one of those little things that matters only to me.
And it makes a big difference. I noticed that a while ago. Like I would see the thumbnail, and then looking through the video, I would actually look for the moment or try to find the moment where
Yeah.
you created the thumbnail, and I wouldn't see it. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if if I can be considered a casual viewer or not, because I don't know if casual viewers actually do that. But I mean, I do. Maybe I'm weird, but
It's
that's
I would say like how you view things and the frequency of how many times you view them is separate, right?
right,
You can be
right,
a casual viewer of like I could be a casual viewer of like say like basketball games, but
right.
maybe every game that I watch, I analyze down to the T. And like, like every little play I'm thinking about all I may not
Yeah,
watch every game every week. I may watch
right,
like two a month as a casual viewer, but when
right,
I do, I watch it in my way that I watch it. You know what I'm saying?
right, 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 right.
So yeah, I'd say like anything can classify as casual because like even for me, like even with like my shoe buying, I know I buy more than the casual person, but I have the casual mindset of like, huh, that looks kind of cool. Wonder what that's all about. You know, kind of like
Okay,
when you
yeah,
kind of like when you walk through and you're looking at like movies or something, like in a, well, I was about saying like Blockbuster, but I guess that's a dated reference. But if you were to
Right.
go to somewhere, okay, let's say you were going to buy a movie, right? Let's say you wanted to go and buy a new movie, you might walk through the mall or something, wherever you buy movies from, I guess Walmart, Target, and you might look and you might be like, oh, let's see what's new. Because I do this with CDs, and I just look and see like, okay, oh, Lana Del Rey, huh? Hmm. Now, if I was more into like following that stuff, I would have known for weeks, months that that album was going to come out on Black
Right.
Friday.
Right.
But I don't. I like what she does, but I don't follow what she does.
I don't know. I don't know when the last time I bought an actual movie.
Man, from a distance, I thought that said Slut 9. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, huh, that's different.
That's terrible.
Well, is it my fault though? Like, I mean, it's just, I blame HP for the way they made this monitor.
That is terrible.
But no, it's that's the how that's the whole thing though. It's like doing all that stuff like past like watching the videos or like what you put into them. It's all just like at the end of the day, it's all for fun. I consider this a hobby just as much as I do anything else. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why like when somebody was saying like, "Oh, why are you ignoring this guy's request for this thing or that thing?" It's like, cuz this is only going to get so much of my time. Period.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if it's a thing where it's like if somebody asks something like, "Oh, hey, like where'd you get these?" It's like if I know that I covered that in detail in the beginning of the thing, it's like, screw it, don't need to bother with this.
As a matter of fact, I saw where somebody asked where should they go to find a shoe you did a review on, and you told them how about starting looking at a place you hadn't looked before.
Yeah, because like I was pretty sure most people that ask that haven't looked anywhere. And so so that's why I said that.
I'm like, that is such a shoes up kind of thing, kind of response. And I couldn't help but laugh. And it almost made me want to go find that comment and go through the video and see. But I'm just like, no, he'll figure it out.
Well, yeah,
He'll
I mean,
figure it out.
because that's the thing. Like, you can always, since it was a collaboration, you can always start with like the website that was part of the collaboration, or either
Right,
of the two, right? Because there's
right.
the brand that makes the thing, and then there's like the brand they worked with, right?
That is so true. And a lot of times people, it's like, did you watch the video, or did you just see the shoe, the thumbnail of the shoe in the thumbnail, see maybe 15 seconds of it and decide to ask the question? Like, were you really paying attention?
Yeah.
All you need is a little
'Cause,
bit of attention.
I have no idea what the last shoe I bought was. Not a clue. To answer his question,
That's how many shoes he has, and that's how frequently they come in. There is no last shoe.
because
It's just
even like the unboxings that I did last night, those have been piling up in my apartment office for a couple weeks. Like minus like the 2 Nike boxes, because like I went down there and then like 3 shoes were in one box, and but yeah, so I have no idea.
I've
Like
got a nice pile right here. That's where my tripod stand for my phone is sitting on. That I'm doing the live with. It's on top of that nice pile of shoe boxes that have a video waiting to be done.
my first many of my first videos were recorded on top of shoe boxes because I didn't have a tripod. It was like there was like a small table in the place where I was living, and they
Yeah.
stacked a bunch of shoes on it, less shoe boxes. And I would just I sit them up there, and then I set the camera down or the phone down, and then I'd go sit down on the couch and I'd see like how it looked. I'd like
Right.
kind of like record a couple seconds and go back, look at it. It's like, okay, raise it up a little higher. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, You can't really tell, I guess, or maybe you can. I don't know. I don't watch
No,
any of my
you
stuff.
can. I went back to like the Concord video. Was it the Concord? I know it was a Jordan 11 video
Yeah, I
in the
did
very
two
beginning.
Concord videos, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched that video and you can't tell at all.
Okay.
The only thing that you can see that's a difference between then and now is lighting. But other than that, like you can't tell camera setup.
Okay. Yeah, because those were recorded on the Note 8. Nowadays, they use the 10. So
Oh, humble beginnings shoes up and now fancy schmancy. Now
no, now
that
I like my tripod is a free tripod I got with a purchase from Amazon a long time ago. But it's still not a nice tripod. And like even the one that I use for my on feet, like that one's not nice either. It's like I just don't touch it because it's like angled perfectly. So
Elite shoes up, sleeves down is coming next in the next couple of weeks. So just imagine what you're all gonna get then. So that means you all stay tuned. He's not gonna promote it, but I damn sure will. So hit that
I
like
was
button,
telling,
subscribe, comment, and all of those beautiful things to put that pressure on shoes up to come up with some more content.
shit, no, we don't need it. What's he saying? Like used to stack boxes in color coordination in the closet and front closet
That's
years ago and try to call myself being hey, I would say that's creative, you know?
yeah, that definitely is creative because there is a fine art and a high level of patience to stack boxes in color coordination, let alone stack boxes.
Yeah.
Because today, as I mentioned again, I saw one of my boxes kind of being crushed, and I decided because they started leaning, the stack started leaning like that.
Yeah.
I decided to try and fix it. And I thought I did a beautiful job of fixing it and stacked it by strength of box. And I wish I could have gotten that in a recording, but about 5 to 7 minutes after I stacked that, they all came tumbling down. So, yeah. And I couldn't open the door. The only thing I could do was fit my arm in the closet door and had to kind of magically work my way through it.
Yeah, that is a concern for me also because some like my Adidas stack, both of my Adidas stack, like the one that's got my first Ultra Boost in it, like as in 1 through 4,
Right.
stack is high. But luckily, those are all largely the same. And the Yeezy boxes, I was like, all the Yeezy boxes are just like this. So
Right.
those are no problem. I wish more things were. But then when it gets into like the other stuff, especially just like the way Nike boxes are, they're just designed to lean if you stack enough of them because they're not
Right.
designed to be stacked
Right.
flat. But all my boxes, they all are mostly in the same kind of areas. Like a lot of them look similar. So like I can tell that those are like 720s and some Vapormaxes right there because those have like a certain white box to them.
Let's see which way do I go?
But past that, like
Yeah.
everything else, I can tell my really old Ultra Boost because they have like the yellow and purple box.
So it's like floor to ceiling. And I got all my figure collections back there too as well, but there are literally 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then 1, 2 are starting to form in the middle. And then I had to kind of do something off to the side here to kind of sturdy up the stack behind this one. So yeah, for anybody, these orange boxes right here, don't trust these orange boxes to hold any kind of weight. Don't trust Jordan 1s to hold any kind of weight because they lean. And then Jordan 8 boxes, don't trust those either. I would show you, but I have it hidden behind in the back off to the side to kind of support these over here. That box is completely crushed. They are useless. I'm going to tell you that. They are useless for stacking. You're better off like, I don't know, finding a random piece of cardboard and stuffing them in between the boxes for support.
had a question, like what kind of figures? I know it's a broad one, so
I have
I
all
understand it's a
kind of
broad collection.
figures, like because I grew up in the '90s, so I have all kind of figures from my childhood up until now. The most recent figures I've started to like pick up and collect would be like the He-Man figures, and I got this one thanks to Shoes Up Sleeves Down.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I keep this completely separate because, and this will probably stay in the box. And I know that's kind of a heartbreak to figure collectors, but this one means a lot to me. And the He-Man collection is really good. I pick up like Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures, and I customize this one. This one's been sitting out for the longest, so it's a little dusty. But I put flocking on it and all that good kind of stuff. Painted it gold. What else? Vintage things, and this kind of gets into Shoes Up's challenge for me to show some of the things that I picked up. But vintage things, I had to pick up the vintage Ghostbusters Ecto 1 because I still have my house. This was the only thing that I was missing from the 80s, from my childhood, because I enjoyed that car so much. I destroyed it. I would push it and roll it down the steps and things like that. So yeah, that's like kind of a quick peek into some of the figures that I pick up. I don't know. I haven't heard it. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, do you all like figures, pickups, and stuff like that? I wouldn't know unless I actually put it on my channel, but I just never really think that anybody's going to be interested enough in figures coming from a shoe channel to post it. So,
Well, the thing is, once you have a channel established on the internet, period, whatever you make and tag as such,
yeah,
people will find it, right? Like even if it's
yeah,
not the target audience of like the most of your fan base or whatever,
yeah,
the only thing that'll be different is like if you look at the stats of that video, you'll see a significant drop in views from subscribers versus non-subscribers, right?
okay,
But
yeah, makes
even
sense.
for me, like, you know, and the reason I don't really care about the subscriber count so much is even overall for me, like that number, that's the ratio hasn't changed since I started. Well, okay, I mean, obviously you can't start from day one, but from the time when I had say like 50 subscribers or something, right? Like
Right,
it's always been about 10 to 13% of my views overall come from subscribers, and then the rest of it is all just random people. So that's why I just kind of say like just put whatever up there if you want to. Now, and he's saying he mainly collects statues now, and that's the thing that I would like to get more of. I have a whole bunch of like the NECA statues from the Masters of the Universe in 2000, was that 5 to 2007, that time frame.
right.
And I have a couple other ones, but that's the thing that I'd like to get more of. It's just the whole space thing is the problem. So that's why right
Right.
now,
That's the only reason why I don't do statues because of
yeah,
space. Like statues, I watch statue collectors, and statues eat up a lot of space.
they
Like
do. Like they're
Bam
nice though.
Collectibles, I watch him on YouTube. And geez, I'm like, you think you need dedication for shoe space? You need dedication for statue space.
So yeah, because like, and he's saying he just subscribed to your channel, so I'm
Oh,
sure he
thank you.
appreciates that. But I know, like, I do my like wrestling videos, wrestling action figure videos or whatever, and I just bought a new shelf, but like it was back ordered on Amazon. It's not even like a fancy shelf. It's just like the cheapest one that I know is good. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's one I use for like DVDs and Blu-rays over here. But that one, I'm planning to just put a bunch of figures on that one because I can put a lot of those on there because they're only like this tall, this wide, whatever, like 6 inch maybe.
Right.
But I do at some point want to start displaying like the Transformers I have, right? Those aren't all statue size, but some of them take up as much room because that's how, like my Devastator, you throw a bunch of Constructicons or whatever like together, yeah,
Right.
it amounts some space, right?
Right.
Then like my sound wave, I don't think my sound wave is out either. No, he's not. So there's a couple things that I would like to get out, and I just need to get some space for that, you know?
Right. I have I have a Ghostbuster surprise coming. I don't think this year, but maybe next year. And I'm a little worried about where I'm gonna have the space to put it. um, when it comes, I'll definitely show that one off.
Yeah.
But
And
until then, it'll
I
be a
want to get
mystery.
more Marvel Legends. I don't know if you watched like the most recent figure collection editions video or whatever I called it, but I got like some more Marvel Legends figures, and I feel myself falling deep into that rabbit hole, and I know that I'm gonna need some space for those because I don't mind mixing things up, you know. Like even over there, I have like ICP versus the Power Rangers, you know, and then
Right.
I have some random other figures up there. I got like some Deadpool sets and stuff. So I don't mind mixing things together, but sometimes you want to just kind of like put only something somewhere, you know?
Right, right. Have dedicated shelves
I
to
wonder.
just like certain uh I guess not genres of figures, but certain brands of figures or names of figures.
I'm not sure I've seen the new Soundwave Deluxe because I saw one that looked very similar to the one that I have. And then somewhere else I saw like a picture of the Panther tape that he has. I don't know what its name is. And that one looked a lot more premium than what. So I didn't know if it was like the same set or what. But yeah, Soundwave, that is a cool one. I originally bought it just because I like to have music related things in my like area where I have like my music stuff. So like I bought some Dazzler figures, you know what I mean? I have like an Elias figure from like wrestling. There's what is like the Run DMC Funkos, you know. So it's a lot of just music stuff that I like to have. You can, I think you can put a link in there. You should be able to. So I think when it comes to like the chats and stuff, I think it's a little more open. But if not, I'll just have to look for a Soundwave Deluxe figure later. But yeah, there are a lot of figures out there that I want, and I keep looking at these emails from like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, or even some of the little Super Seven things. There's all
Right.
kinds of stuff out there for everybody, like whatever you're into. Especially
Like
like all those animated series Ninja Turtles figures they keep making. Like
right.
that Chrome Dome was a lot bigger than I expected. I got the Gargoyles figure somewhere, but it's not unboxed yet.
The
So I have the
Goliath.
Goliath figure.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess it didn't paste then. Maybe. Well, that sucks.
That Goliath figure is a really good figure. Like the thing for me is I keep up with Hasbro posts and the things that they do. So that's how I keep up with, kind of what's current. Now I will fall off every now and then because life things, but um, what else? And then like I follow some guys that are really heavy into toy collecting as well that I personally know. So they keep
Hmm.
me in the loop about a lot of what's going on as well. But yeah, I collect everything from like SH Figure Arts. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that. Um,
Oh, I,
I like
real quick. I see the sound wave that you're talking about, like because the link didn't come through, but I see like the one you're talking about now. And, like yeah, the gray silver kind of one. That's a new one to me. Yeah.
hmm,
Hmm. Indeed. So yeah, I'll have to see what's up with that. It's not too bad either, price wise. But
because I'm picking up a lot of the. I'm trying to pick up a lot of the Beast Wars figures. I don't like the packaging of the I don't know, like the second iteration of Beast Wars. I guess you would call it like the classic Beast Wars because the packaging didn't look like that in the 90s, but um for nostalgia reasons I want to pick it up regardless of whether I hate the packaging or not.
right, yeah, and I get that. I mean, because if you're gonna open it, then it only matters so much. But because that's the
Right.
thing, like with a lot of like the NECA figures, I like to open my stuff, but what's cool about those is like until you open it, you can keep it in the box and it'll at least still be like displayable in that way, you know?
Right. Right.
I mean, some things are a little easy because those do have like that tab, you know, that flip out tab thing or whatever. Some things are a little easier to work with, but every so often, you know, it's like I don't mind keeping something in the box until I can put it somewhere because it just comes in a very display friendly case already. But then there's some stuff that like it's just it's best left open, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when they, as far as those gargoyles though, when those, it's a good thing they're kind of spacing them out, but I'm gonna want that whole set, you know, like Lexington and was it Brooklyn and all of the other ones. I know they have New York based names, but I don't remember all the names. But yeah, I want to get all of those. And the cool thing
You're
about
talking
that,
about
like,
Bronx, Brooklyn. What is that? What are the names? Bronx, Brooklyn, Goliath. What's the dog? I can't remember what the dog's name
oh,
is.
I thought that was Bronx.
One is Fiona. The dog might be Bronx. Um, Fiona. Um, and I think I don't remember the rest of them. I do have Disney Plus, so at any point in time, I can watch the
Hudson.
Gargoyles cartoon.
See, this guy knows.
But the only other Gargoyles thing I have, because I think I sold my Gargoyles figures from the '90s because I only had two of them. Because Goliath was extremely hard to get in Georgia, and I wasn't really happy about that. But the only other thing I have is the Gargoyles interactive VHS game slash cartoon movie, and I don't think I have anything currently to be able to play that anymore.
Yeah, I believe I have a VHS or a VCR in my storage unit, but that's just because I don't remember ever throwing it away.
Right,
Because like it was probably one of those things where like when I packed it away, it was still relevant, and so now it's
right,
probably just like in there, hanging
right,
out. But
right,
you know, waiting for me to hook up a PS2 to it. I remember when I first
right.
did that, and I was able to, or PS1. Remember when I first hooked up a PS1 to like the VCR with like the red, yellow, white connectors or whatever, and like I could
Right.
see flames when like Harlem Heat came out on WCW Nitro, like the video game. I was like, what? There's fire there? Yeah, it was a very huge upgrade. But the thing I like about like the gargoyles things and stuff like that is like it's easy to say like, oh, I just want to get like that core cast because there's only so much of it. When I
Right.
what did me wrong with He-Man was like I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get a couple of the good guys. And then like
There's a
they had
million
like
good.
He-Man and Man at Arms, then like Stratos came along, then like Cyclone, and I'm like, oh okay, well I'll get those too. And they're like, well, what about Roboto? I'm like, well yeah, okay, Roboto too. And next thing you know, it's like I'm ordering things from the Philippines just so I can have a complete set. So I've got like the whole 2000X, you know, it's like 2002 to 2007
Yeah.
mostly set. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure,
Yeah.
and it took some work to get it, and they are all in boxes, like as in like the boxes that they came in, and also all in boxes as in packed away. So, because I had them just like when they were actively making the line, I had them displayed on my wall, right? Which was not a great idea, you know, because like I just used a bunch of like thumbtack things or whatever,
Yeah.
and
And there are a million
well,
holes in the
not
wall.
thumbtacks, but like the ones where they have like little plastic edges on them where you can like grab them. Like, because I think thumbtacks are just like the flat ones that
Yeah.
they use in
Yeah.
wrestling. But I just had them up on the walls, and it was a cool thing. And then like I moved, you know, and then one of my like roommates, like, because he didn't think about it at all, just like I didn't. And when I moved, like, and then he was moving, he's like, man, like we're trying to cover up all those holes you put in the wall with all those figures. It kind of sucks. I'm like, yeah, I guess it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Right.
Because I didn't think anything of it at the time, you know. But it made for a pretty cool display because like people would walk by my room or whatever when they were over to, because we'd be doing our little LAN parties and such, have our little geekniks. But people would walk by and like, hey, that's pretty cool because some of them would remember some of the figures and they were all
Right,
done from modern times. Like, oh, I remember
right.
V1. Like I had that figure. That was cool. Let's see, in Broadway and Lexington. Yeah, okay. So
Yep,
23
yep.
got them all. But yeah, it's the figure collecting thing. It can be a bit of a slippery slope, but you just gotta focus on things that aren't sets. You know.
Yeah, that's why I try to. That's why I really, for the longest, stayed away from He-Man, and I was actually glad that a lot of the figures with like the last what 5 years of releases, because they've done so many different brand company releases and different looks of He-Man. I was glad I did not like them because He-Man, there's a million different figures. And then when
Oh,
I saw
yeah,
Masters of the Universe Revelations and I looked at the figures and I was like, wow, I like these. After I made that statement, I said, damn, I'm in trouble.
yeah. Because like I saw them, and I like some of them too, and I was like, I'm not doing it. Like I don't care how good this figure looks. But to respond to his comment here about having stuff in common, that's why like I know some channels like to be very specific and just keep it to what the channel is built around, but I figure it's more of a personality aspect. It's like if you are watching somebody, like the more you see of them, like what they're into, the more likely you'll be to figuring out if you are or are not into that person, right? So I could talk about a bunch of stuff I'm into, and you might think like, I don't like this dude. I don't like him as a person. He gets some cool shoes, but screw it, I'm not watching his stuff. But if you watch, oh, like this guy's gonna talk about some other things that I'm into, then kind of like with homegrown kicks, that's why I can like watch his stuff because it's like he's not just gonna talk about one thing all the time. So I do appreciate that. And as far as like the vinyl and the comics, like I never got into the vinyls because I never had a vinyl player, but I do still buy a lot of physical CDs because I just like having the albums. It's cool being able to flip through the shelf and like look when I'm looking for an album to drive around with, because every now and then I'll do a quick little review of those, and it's like I'll flip through looking for this specific thing, and I'll be reminded of all these other CDs that I have. Like, oh man, like I got to pull this thing out because I remember going to that show and I remember seeing these guys, and it's been
Right.
so long. And then with comics, like I want to get back into comics. I just
It's hard.
part of me doesn't want to because like a, I would rather have the real deal, right? And I don't
Right.
want to build up a whole bunch of comics around. Now I could easily just go and do the digital thing. The only thing that would stop me from doing the digital thing was every time I start to look into digital services, I was just kind of start finding myself down some weird rabbit hole of like getting more and more off the path of like what I started to do. It's like because I'll click on something and I'm like, oh, well, we have this and this. I'm like, wait, when did Spider-Man do that? And so then I'm
Right.
like looking up all these random things. So I would like to get back in the comics because I was into it for like some years off and on. But man, like going back to 2000, was it the 2006 era with what was Multiple Man in? Was it X Force? X Factor? I can never remember. X Factor? I don't know. Whatever Multiple Man was a part of, like that series was really good, and then it just kind of like went off the rails towards the end. It was kind of like the fallout of like the people not having powers and stuff. Like, cause like I reread that whole series a couple years. X Force, okay, yeah, cause I reread that series of comics like maybe a couple years ago, and it was really good. Then towards the end, I think it got into like the Secret Invasion, and so it kind of started branching out, and then like that particular series wrapped up. But yeah, there's some good memories, and I would like to get back into it. Just need to figure out, do I want to?
The only reason I won't get back into comics, because as a kid, I liked comics. Comics were basically about the only book I would actually read as a kid. Um, but the only reason I won't get back into it is because like I know the collector's mindset will start taking hold again for a comic. And like back in the day when you would see like the 90s movies and things like that, where the kids would carefully open the pages and be like, no, you don't turn my pages unless you got these gloves on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That narcissism starts setting in. And I'm like, I have to worry about how I store them and things like that. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm already doing it with shoes. I'm already doing it with figures.
Right.
And some other thing, movies, because like I got the collector's edition of a lot of movies, like 10 cases and games and things like that. I'm like, I cannot add anything else to that list of like frantic, kind of narcissistic approaches to. Like I was like, I can't do it.
And that's where I like why, even though I would rather have the physical ones, if I get back into it, it's gonna have to be, unless it's like, I mean, it's been a while, but I do still buy like the novel style ones, where like they take like the whole series, like the whole crossover, and they put it into like one like novel book. I forget. I know there's like the paperbacks and stuff, but for me, I would have to go with the digital route because it's maybe that'll be my Christmas gift for myself. Maybe I'll just finally buy me a new tablet just so I can start reading comics again. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say that sounds like a good idea.
And then
he says read your books. Yeah. When I was younger, kind of off what you were saying, like I read mostly comics and Roald Dahl books because I was into the stuff he wrote, like Fantastic Mr. Fox and James and the Giant Peach. I was a huge fan of his work, but he was like, I think, the only person whose books I actually read that weren't comic books.
Let me see.
Yeah, the trade paperbacks. Yeah.
Like these right here, like these are some recent comic books that I found that I used to have as a kid, like the X-Men classics. And I saw somewhere that this is like an actual collector. Like when I got this, back when they had like arcades attached to comic book shops and you could win comic books at arcades, I had no clue. It was just like a regular basic comic to me. And I've got like this one too. I don't know. Like I know nothing beyond what I see on the cover about these comics. And then this is like a Captain America one that I had as a kid, where Captain America was crippled and he ended up with like a robotic suit. And I heard that's like a really big deal or something like that in the comic book collecting kind of thing. But I mean, it's like
I got the Tony Hawk 1 demo disc from Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah. I definitely remember that.
But man, like I remember like one of the stories, comic books, whatever, that like really stands out to me was the Fatal Attraction storyline, because I got into that, and like I remember that was around like the time I was deep into comics, like one where Wolverine got his adamantium ripped out and all that stuff, and various other things where like was it Colossus turned on the X-Men and he went to join Magneto's team.
That's crazy.
So there were all those things going on.
Like, yeah, with a lot of these, I just take them and I'll throw them to the side just like that, because just to get them out of my way,
So I'm wondering what happened to those, because that was like 7th grade, something like that, because that was also around the time when I was buying like the collector's cards, like the trading cards.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I noticed that the Alpha Flight too. Like Marvel series, I think was 3 is when I found out about Alpha Flight, and I was like, these guys seem pretty cool. Speaking of slightly not it's mainstream, but like not the popular ones, I guess. Did you see the Captain Britain, Megan, and Shadow Cat set?
No, I haven't.
It's like the first. I think it's on the Hasbro Pulse site right now, but somebody was saying it's the first Megan figure since like possibly ever.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that, because I've never really thought about that.
I can pull it up real quick here. Since they got like screen share options or whatever. Let's see.
That's the fancy stuff.
Shut up. So, but yeah, so that should be
Okay.
up there. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's on what for $62 or something.
Wow.
So,
Hasbro Pulse is a pit hole for if you want to empty your bank account right now.
oh,
Like,
it's got the Lockheed with it too. That's pretty cool.
wow.
So yeah, because like I never really paid attention to Captain Britain, but I always thought like that's cool.
Those female figures are pretty cool.
Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, well, I do kind of want that. And they've got some other ones too.
I like
But
that Shocker figure is one I like the most. Like I used to like Spider-Man figures as a kid, and I've always wanted a decent Shocker figure because like the one they had in the 90s where his arms were stiff and they only had two positions, straight by side and straight forward, and then like he had springs in his arm and you would pull, like you would push the plastic shock bolts in his hand and let it go from the back, and they would launch like shock missiles. But
I might. Did these guys ship pretty good? Like as far as like timelines go, are they pretty
yeah,
accurate?
Hasbro Pulse does a really good job. I ordered a Power Rangers silver figure and some villain figures maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I got them like 3 days after I ordered them. So like Hasbro Post does a really good job of shipping.
I might have to. I don't know. Like it's not a thing I need, but see, because like that was the picture I was looking for. I don't know why it didn't come up, but because remember, like last year, I think it was they made the set where they had it was Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver, and
Yeah,
then I think they
yeah,
also had one that was Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Cyclops.
yeah, yeah.
So they made some pretty cool sets, and I waited too long on those other ones, and then they sold out. And I'm curious how these are going to be. The animated series figures.
Those look pretty good. And then they have like the packaging is like a VHS box.
Yeah, I saw that. It's kind of like the Ninja Turtles animated figures that they're doing right now. Not them,
Yeah,
but NECA.
right, right. So some of them are pretty good. Some of them are really good. I guess they are to highlight the features of like the animated series. If anybody is familiar with the old animated 90s series, which is why you have that kind of shading right there, because
Yeah.
that's yeah. But yeah, the box art is incredible. I think the box art is probably the best thing because I don't think they come with very many accessories.
But I mean, for what it is, it's yeah. This is one that I would, and I don't want to commit to it right now, but I do want to get these, and I just know that that's a bad mistake.
Right, right, right.
Because they look really good. But like I said, like the Ninja Turtles figures that I have come in boxes like that, like Chrome Dome and all, and
Right.
Mondo Gecko, Muckman, all the other ones, which I didn't really realize until recently when I looked at the side. I'm like, oh, it shows the album. I mean, it shows the one that they were in the episode, and then on the side it is labeled like a VHS box.
So I know not everybody's a fan of Ghostbusters, but have you seen the Ghostbusters things that Hasbro Pulse are doing?
I have not. I don't really pay a lot of attention to them. Like to
Because
Ghostbusters. This Mr. Sinister. I've always wanted a Mr. Sinister figure because I always thought he
that
just
was
looked so
that's
cool.
incredible.
Yeah, that is. See, that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
That's probably the best Mr. Sinister figure they've done in a long time. Because I know there's only like one or two, and this is probably one of the better ones.
Man. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to peruse through here. Into the
And then Hasbro will definitely get you with the Transformers and things like that they have on the site.
No, going to Comic-Con, they have got me with the Transformers a long time ago, so I'm already they already
And then
secured that victory.
and then with the Hasbro membership, you get discounts, and then you get free shipping, and it's I think it's like $40 for the year.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a huge setup. I think the first time you sign up for it, you get like a 20% discount on your entire purchase.
Man, this White Vision, I bought that whole set because I wanted this figure.
That's a great
Wait,
figure.
no, actually that's a different one,
Yeah,
right?
it's a different one.
That's a different one than I have, but
It's from WandaVision, I think.
no, so was the last one. But this
Really?
is just a different figure. Because like the cape is different.
Oh yeah, he's got a different head sculpt too, I think it
It's
looks
like
like.
I can pull mine up real quick since it's in here in the living room. Oh, yeah, there's a mouse there.
Live technical difficulties, ignore those. He's perfect every time.
So, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong screen. I'm like, why aren't I on here? So this is the one that I have, where it's very similar. It just doesn't look as like,
Oh,
but he's got like this like clearish cape. You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah. So that's the Wanda. That's like the WandaVision.
this is the one from the set with who was it? The black guy, Black Falcon or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Wanda, Bucky, the guy that was replacing Captain America, Baron something or other, and Loki.
I did not know they had a set for that.
Oh yeah, you should check it out. I did a review on those, I think. Pretty sure I did.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to peruse
Oh,
through
he's saying that's not. Well, it says. Oh, Silk Dragon.
Vishon. That's Vishon with the silk durag cape and all.
And then what was he saying before that about Moon Knight? I know I almost got. I need to watch the Disney Plus thing where they were talking about Moon Knight because I guess he's gonna have a figure. You said you wanted to see these. I'll probably. I plan to. The plan as of right now is to do this actual review because it's already recorded. The plan is to actually edit the review tonight and post this probably in the morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, here it is. Kind of look in there a little bit, see how the inside is. That's how it should look if you happen to get a pair.
I
Nice
saw
little
those
stickers
sitting
on in there.
at Finish Line, and I was gonna see about it, but I didn't because the resellers that were in the store breathing up all the good air kind of made me just want to get in and get out. But when you earlier during the live scratched the upper like it was plastic, I said,
Well, that's because
no, thank you.
I don't. Because like when you look at it, it's kind of hard to see because it's not really focusing on so much. But
Oh yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
yeah, you can definitely.
Oh, that's terrible.
So when you're walking around, you might hear a lot of that. And
That
if you get
sounds like
from the
one of
right angle, it's hard to
those
see it in here.
dishwasher
But
sponges.
if you watch the, I guess it'd be the middle section of the review section of my mono mist or mono ice video,
Yeah.
then you'll see like the up close of those and see.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that video. And I felt the same way you felt when it came to though, that type of material and how that shoe would have been better without that material.
Yeah, and they've got some pretty good stuff coming up. I'll have to get into that at a later date after I see like what kind of tablet I need to get to make sure I can read some comics. But yeah, like when I saw this as a just one of those random Google News feeds because if you look up like enough random crap, they start kind of tailoring stuff towards you.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, well, let me go ahead and see where this is. And I saw it and I bought the set from Entertainment Earth because I figured it was easier. and they sent me. Oh yeah, because I remember doing that video very clearly now. Because when I was doing the unboxing, they sent me 2 Falcons.
What was the second one free?
Yeah, it was, because I ordered the set, just like the 6 dudes, and I was like, wait,
Right.
why are there 7 boxes? So
Well,
yeah,
that's always a plus.
that it is, right? It's kind of like that time I got that free pair of Game Royal 12s.
Oh boy, I'm lucky you. I have yet to get a free. Still waiting.
Kind of breaking up there, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
let's see. Okay, well, it's been a little while. It's been like 2 hours, which is, I guess, usually about par for the course if I have people involved. Usually an hour and a
Right.
half or something. Well, I'm probably gonna start getting this wrapped up because, like I said, I do want to edit this MX Oat video and get that out there to the world. It's a little late, but the thing is, it's still gonna be a decent enough. I'm sure I'll get some views or whatever, even though it is late, because it is my channel, and not to
Right.
sound like conceited or whatever, but as your channel grows in time or whatever, and it proves itself to be whatever, when you do reviews of certain things that your channel generally does reviews of, that kind of helps algorithmically. So since
Just
I'm no stranger to doing 350 videos, I'm sure this, even though it won't get my normal numbers, because that honestly doesn't matter,
just go
I'm
ahead
sure
and
some
say
people over time will still watch it, because even looking at my like most watched videos of like last month, most of them are old, right? So it'll be fine.
you can go ahead and say it. You're 6,000 famous, and
Nah.
it doesn't really matter because you have the love of the masses. You could,
Like
you could
I ran into, was it like last week? I was at some restaurant. I was like walking with like my food, and like one of the worker guys like came over to me. Was like, "Man, I'm not trying to be weird, but like I've seen your videos." I'm like, "Huh, that's not weird, but it is. I see why
that's how
you
you know
thought
you're
that."
famous.
And then like an old coworker of mine messaged me out of nowhere like last week. He's like, "Hey, so my brother said he watches you on YouTube." I'm like, huh, my brother doesn't even watch me on YouTube. But yeah, and I believe in that too. Like, do the shoe review at any time, because ultimately, like, there, I don't know what the ratio is like nowadays or whatever, but there have been, like anybody, like you have some people that they don't watch everybody. They don't really watch stuff like that.
Right.
It's like I'll do. I have friends of mine like Derek, right? Like he's an action figure guy. He's a wrestling guy, but he would see like the shoe reviews just thrown up there often enough. It's like, oh, I'll watch them when they look decent. So there's
Right.
going to be people that are subscribed to just me for other reasons, and they might see that and like, oh, that sounds cool. But even still, going back to the thing I said before, which is the main thing, it's a hobby, right? I do these things partially for insurance reasons. If I ever need to claim that I had something that is stolen or damaged in a fire, I've definitely got that. And it's nice to just kind of share my thoughts with the world. And
Right.
sometimes people think that I do an all right job of sharing those thoughts. So that's cool. But yeah, seriously though, on
Those
that
numbers would
homeowners or
suggest
renters
more than
insurance,
sometimes.
definitely like consider, taking pictures of the things that you have that mean something to you and documenting them somewhere. So if you ever have to prove that you own something, whatever it may be, some prized hockey cards to some rare action figures, have some
That is
kind of
true.
proof.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. When you get older, you start to think about now.
I never thought about that.
But no, seriously though, like if you can point to something and be like, oh yeah, like there's a bunch of pictures here, right? Like I could show somebody. Like now, there are certain shoes that I'm, depending on how old it is, may not have been documented so well. I mean, all my Air Maxes, because of Air Max Day, have been, and all my Adidas, well, at least anything with Boost in it has. But there might be a a few Jordans that haven't really been on the channel before. I don't know that I've ever showed my like Take Flight 8s. You know, those probably have never had a reason to come out. Or my Black Cement 3s. What reason would I have to have shown those, right? I've never done a 3 collection because I only have one pair. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, anyways, Mr. Not Slut, but Scut, appreciate you passing through, killing some time with us, talking about figures and whatnot. So, Homegrown Cakes and I are going to talk later today, and we are going to set up a time to do an action figure based live. I say that all the time, but today I'm actually putting some times and dates on it. So, Homegrown Kicks, expect to hear from me later to know when you have some free time, and we were going to do a live, talk about action figures, and pretty much just that. Well, I mean, obviously, like
I
the
would
conversation goes
definitely
where the
be there.
conversation goes, but the main topic will be action figures. We'll show some
Right.
things, some of our older favorites, some of the stuff from childhood if we have it, or inspired by childhood, whatever. And we'll set up a time that works for both of us. My schedule seems to be a little more forgiving than yours, so I can work with you on that. But we'll get that going. And hey,
That's gonna.
yeah, you're more than welcome. I don't know if do you follow me on like Instagram or anything? Because like I'm sure we'll put up some kind of notice over there that it's happening, or just pay attention and like follow like the live. You don't necessarily have to have notifications on, but I try to put my live things out there early enough that people will know that it's going to happen at least within like a couple days or something. But yeah, you're more than welcome. Anybody's always more than welcome. That's why I pinned the links in the chat. So just come on back. I'll get something out there so that way you can know when it's happening. But hopefully that is within the next soonish time frame. That'd be cool. When I say
Yeah.
that, I mean like
Yeah.
within the next like by the end of the month. How's that sound? Homegrown. By the end of the month.
Oh yeah, that definitely works.
Okay, cool. Because we
I
only
can
got
work
like
with
two more
by the
weeks
end of
left.
the month.
So we'll figure something out. And hopefully you can attend. If you can't, next time. Next time. But I'm going to pass it on over to him so he can say his goodbyes and whatnot. So there you go. Homegrown, you're on the big screen on the Titantron, as they called it in wrestling for a while.
All right, what's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? I am Homegrown Kicks. I have my sneaker channel. It is.
You're kind of breaking up there.
I do. Oh yeah, I'm driving a little bit.
Okay. Just a
I
little bit.
do. I do different things on my channel. When it comes to shoe sizes, I do adults, I do grade school, and I do toddlers. So if you have little ones or people with little feet, you can definitely get a review or a perspective from my side of things on my channel. Um, I do, kind of random pickups every now and then, whether it be clothing or figures. I haven't really gotten into detail on the figures just yet. So if you want to see figures, head over to my channel on one of my, videos or whatever, or you can head over to my Instagram and let me know. Because, you know, I don't know what you all want to see if you don't tell me. Speaking of my other avenues of media, I do have an Instagram, like I said, I have a Twitter, and I have a TikTok now. I don't know how often I will be on there, but yeah, I just made a TikTok just to kind of keep up with the young kids, I guess.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
can't really say I'm a TikTok guy either.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hmm.
I don't see the point of TikTok, but I mean, I guess maybe I'll come around to it fully at some point in time. I don't know. I'm not in the habit of making promises now that I'm getting old and a bit of the Alzheimer's is setting in. But you know, I try. But yeah, thank you for letting me on the live. I don't think I've been live with you in quite a while.
It's been a little
It's
bit.
it's
I haven't
always
been live in a month and a half, I don't think. So, yeah. But yeah, come on, you'll have to come on back sometime, as usual. But yeah, like I'm saying, TikTok things, like I made an account just to secure the name, but because that's a thing that like made sense to me.
right.
But
Self-branding,
but
of
past
course.
that, don't go to the profile or whatever because you probably won't see anything. So yeah, people are saying like, "Well, oh, you should put these things on TikTok." I'm like, I'm good. They're on Instagram.
Right.
But but yeah. So again, thanks to everybody that passed through for a minute or for several minutes or however long it may have been. I do appreciate it because there's a lot of stuff you could be doing with your day, but you're choosing to do this instead of that. Maybe it's procrastination. Maybe you're just like doing this because, hey, why not? Who knows? I appreciate it regardless. But for now, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Like I said, I do plan to edit this video today. I would also like to eat today. So I'm going to do that as
Right.
well.
Right.
So that's a thing that, if I don't do that, then the videos stop. It's just part of the deal, right? As far as staying alive. Shout out to the BGs. But for now, like I said, got some stuff to do. So thanks again. I sincerely say that because I sincerely mean it. Later, people.
Later.